Sonia Purnell, A Woman of No Importance, the untold story of the American spy who helped win World War II. Dive into the fascinating and thrilling tale of Virginia Hall, an American spy whose determination and cunning played a pivotal role in the defeat of Nazi Germany during World War II. In A Woman of No Importance, penned by Sonia Purnell, we follow the life of the bright and fearless Virginia, who went beyond expectations to contribute significantly to the war effort. The book summary below takes you on a journey from her early life in Maryland to her crucial yet perilous wartime activities in France, which resulted in the ultimate Allied victory. Discover the gripping narrative of espionage, courage, and sacrifice, and witness how Virginia's remarkable talents and unwavering spirit proved vital in one of history's darkest times.
Unlikely heroine, Virginia Hall. Virginia Hall, born in Maryland in 1906, was an unlikely symbol of resistance against Nazi Germany during the Second World War. As a child, she was a free spirit, engaging in activities such as hunting and riding horses bareback. Her mother, Barbara, who aspired for a higher social status, tried to arrange a marriage for Virginia by preparing her for the role of an affluent wife. Virginia's commitment to her mother's plan was short-lived, as societal changes in the 1920s empowered women to break free from traditional roles. After a year, Virginia abandoned her engagement and chose to pursue adventure and independence in Paris, unknowingly setting herself on a path to become a central figure in France's resistance against the Nazis. Virginia Hall, an American born in 1906, would become an integral part of France's struggle against Nazi Germany in World War II. However, her early life trajectory painted a different picture. Raised in a financially struggling family, her social climbing mother, Barbara, hoped to elevate their social status by finding a wealthy suitor for Virginia. In preparation for this grand plan, Virginia attended a prestigious school called Roland Park Country. But Virginia was adventurous and spirited, preferring activities such as hunting, riding horses, and even making bracelets with live snakes. Nonetheless, in an attempt to please her mother, the 18-year-old agreed to an engagement. As fate would have it, 1920s America saw a societal shift in women's roles. The age of flappers brought forth new freedoms, with women sporting shorter hair, dancing to jazz, and pushing the boundaries of traditional femininity. Absorbing the spirit of the times, Virginia ended her engagement within a year. Embarking on a new path, Virginia's linguistic talents, curiosity, and desire for adventure led her to Paris in 1925. What she didn't know was that her journey would not only transform her own life but also impact the course of world history as she played a pivotal role in the French resistance against the Nazi regime. In her extraordinary life, Virginia Hall defied conventional expectations for women of her time, and her courageous actions helped turn the tide of history. Choosing independence and adventure over the comforts of traditional domesticity, she would become a symbol of resilience, hope, and defiance against tyranny. Virginia's journey to resilience. In 1926, at the age of 20, Virginia found herself amidst Paris's artistic and literary scene, a stark contrast to her experience in Prohibition-era America. Enrolling in a language course, she would soon become fluent in French and develop a lifelong connection with France, which she viewed as her second home. After obtaining her degree, she moved to Vienna in 1928 to further pursue languages and economics. By the time she returned to the United States in 1929, she had become proficient in 5 foreign languages and was well versed in European culture and politics. Despite her qualifications, as a woman, Virginia faced limitations within the diplomatic service and was only offered a secretarial position. After assignments in Warsaw and Izmir, a life-changing accident cost her a leg, but within a year, she continued her career and witnessed the start of the Second World War. When 20-year-old Virginia found herself in Paris in 1926, she became enamored with the city's cultural vibrancy and lively jazz clubs. Attending a language course at the École Libre des Sciences Politiques, she quickly picked up French and developed a deep bond with France, a country symbolizing freedom for her. Venturing to Vienna in 1928, Virginia studied languages and economics at the Consular Academy. By the time she returned to the United States in 1929, she had mastered 5 languages and gained extensive knowledge of European culture and politics. Virginia's exceptional skill set made her an ideal candidate for the diplomatic service. However, gender barriers constrained her options, and she was assigned secretarial roles in Warsaw and Izmir. While stationed in Izmir, Virginia became fascinated by wild bird hunting. Tragically, on a fateful trip in 1933, she accidentally shot her left foot, ultimately leading to its amputation. Resilient, she named her wooden prosthetic leg Cuthbert and continued her diplomatic career. Within the next year, amidst the birth of the Second World War, Virginia found herself working in Tallinn, Estonia. Unlikely heroine from Ambulance Corps. When World War II broke out, German troops quickly invaded Poland, coming up against minimal resistance. As they continued their relentless march, Virginia, a young woman from Estonia, knew she had to escape. Undeterred by initial setbacks in contributing to the war effort in England, Virginia became an ambulance driver in France. After surviving the Blitzkrieg invasion and the fall of Paris, she would unexpectedly cross paths with a member of the Special Operations Executive, SOE, in Spain. Her determination and courage landed her a covert position from where she could help fight the Nazis. At the start of World War II, Nazi Germany's powerful Wehrmacht swiftly conquered Poland, marking Hitler's first conquest in the devastating conflict. Virginia observed the chaos from Estonia, another small European country facing a threat of its own, annexation by the Soviet Union. Determined to play a part in the unfolding battle against tyranny, she journeyed to England, where she sought to volunteer for the women's branch of the British Army. Rejected, she persevered and returned to France, signing up as a military ambulance driver in Metz, not knowing she'd soon find her true calling. Following the German offensive against France on May 10, 1940, the Nazis opted for a surprise attack through the dense Ardennes forest, bypassing France's highly touted Maginot Line of defenses. This shock tactic proved devastatingly effective, culminating in the rapid fall of Paris to Hitler's forces. France soon capitulated, splitting into a German-occupied northern zone and a supposed free zone puppet regime in the south, led by the aging Marshal Pétain. Virginia's experiences had hardened her resolve to do whatever she could to help the people of France. Alongside retreating French forces, she moved between the Maginot Line in central France before making a daring dash to the free zone and then Spain. She eventually arrived in the border town of Iron, where she fatefully met a British man named George Bellows in August 1940. Believing Bellows to be a salesman organizing her escape to England via Portugal, Virginia shared her story with him, unaware that she was actually being scouted for suitability as a secret agent. Contrary to her belief, Bellows wasn't a salesman, but rather, an operative of the highly secretive SOE. Impressed by her dedication and resilience, Bellows saw in Virginia the embodiment of the spirit needed to wage an effective clandestine war against the Nazis. Unbeknownst to Virginia, her unyielding determination to help fight her oppressors would lead her out of the ambulance corps and thrust her into an unexpected role as a behind-the-scenes heroine. Unconventional Tactics, SOE's female agent. In the throes of World War II, Britain's Special Operations Executive, SOE, turned to unorthodox methods to combat the Wehrmacht. With dwindling resources in July 1940, the SOE formed F Section, tasking it to sabotage operations in France. Virginia Hall, a 35-year-old woman, quickly became F Section's first female agent. Using her knowledge of local customs and terrain, she began building a network of resistance fighters in southern France under the code name Geologist 5. While reporting for the New York Post, Hall used her articles as a means to relay critical information between the French resistance and London headquarters, proving that her unique contributions to the SOE were invaluable. As the United Kingdom faced unparalleled wartime challenges, they turned to unsuspecting heroes, including women like Virginia Hall. Recruited by F Section, the SOE's France task force, Hall was charged with wreaking havoc through sabotage. This life of subterfuge demanded an expert grasp of local customs, as well as the cunning and courage to avoid detection from the Gestapo and AWomanofNoImportance. Impressed by Hall's potential, Nicholas Boddington, head of F Section, quickly recommended her for a mission. After a thorough security clearance, Hall commenced her espionage training at the age of 35, beginning her assignment as Geologist 5 in February 1941. Her primary objective: construct a resistance network throughout southern France. By August 23, 1941, Hall's extensive preparation paid off as she set sail for Lisbon, en route to France's Free Zone. Under the guise of a New York Post journalist, she operated using her real name, crafting articles that allowed her to maintain her cover while simultaneously communicating vital information to London headquarters. In one of her first articles, Hall reported on the nuances of rationing, a seemingly innocuous topic that held life or death implications for future F Section agents. Relaying correct information was crucial, as a prior British spy narrowly escaped detection after violating a local alcohol policy based on outdated information. Hall's growing network played an increasingly crucial role in the fight against Nazi Germany. The unassuming agent embodied the essence of guerrilla warfare, her knowledge and adaptability bringing credibility and impact to her vital work. This extraordinary woman, once considered an unlikely choice for espionage, would pave the way for future unconventional agents and reshape the fighting strategy of an embattled nation. Building the Lyon Resistance Network. Virginia, a charming and sophisticated spy, decided to establish her base at Lyon, a city well suited for resistance and 70 miles southeast of Vichy, which was heavily surveilled by Gestapo agents. Despite the lack of resources such as weapons, radios, and bombs, the rebellious atmosphere in Lyon's bistros indicated that anti-government sentiment was on the rise. Following instructions from her Special Operations Executive (SOE) superiors, Virginia slowly built up a network of contacts such as nuns, politicians, business owners, and various workers. By September 1941, she successfully set up a bridgehead for the SOE, allowing agents and supplies to enter the region, marking the beginning of active resistance in southern France. Virginia, an elegant and intelligent spy, realized that the heavily monitored Vichy was not a place for her. Instead, she chose Lyon, a city known for its secretly rebellious character and proximity to Switzerland, as her base. The city's brewing anti-government sentiment was evident in the conversations and meetings held in Lyon's iconic bistros, despite the scarcity of essential resources like weapons, communication devices, and explosives. In order to lay the groundwork for future operations, Virginia's task, as assigned by the Special Operations Executive, SOE, was to support and provide these much-needed supplies to the growing resistance slowly and steadily. A cautious approach ensured that any acts of defiance had to be discreet and should not draw attention from the enemy. Upon her arrival in Lyon, Virginia forged her first connections by chance when she was taken in by a group of nuns at a hillside convent. These nuns quickly became vital assets, offering the first safe house for the SOE in Vichy, France. Virginia then broadened her network, recruiting individuals from various backgrounds, such as politicians, restaurant owners, brothel owners, and everyday working people. By September 1941, Virginia's efforts had built a strong foundation for the SOE in southern France, creating a bridgehead into the region. This allowed for the infiltration of over 10 skilled agents, as well as a steady flow of counterfeit money, weapons, and explosives into the hands of the resistance. With the operation in motion, the groundwork for active resistance was firmly established and ready to challenge the oppressive regime. Ingenious World War II Agent Rescue. In World War II, the Special Operations Executive, SOE, was formed by Hugh Dalton, a labor minister seeking unconventional tactics to fight Nazi Germany. Among these unconventional agents was Virginia, whose unexpected arrival in France proved advantageous for a time. However, when an adrift British agent was captured, the SOE network unraveled, leaving Virginia as the sole operative. Undeterred, she devised a brilliant plan to free her fellow captured agents, employing a disabled priest to smuggle a radio into the camp, using a cafe frequented by the camp's guards as a site of persuasion, and ultimately orchestrating a bold escape. Virginia's successful rescue operation was deemed one of the most valuable wartime initiatives by the SOE's official historian. In World War II, unconventional approaches were sought to combat Nazi Germany, resulting in the creation of the Special Operations Executive, SOE. This intelligence agency, led by Hugh Dalton, recruited non-traditional agents, such as Virginia. Her unexpected presence on the ground in France proved advantageous, albeit briefly. When a British agent was apprehended, the SOE's carefully crafted network began to unravel. Virginia found herself as the last operative standing and took action to free her captured colleagues. To establish contact with the imprisoned agents, collectively known as Clan Cameron, she enlisted the help of a wheelchair-bound priest to smuggle a radio into their internment camp. Once communications were established, Virginia engaged another agent, Gabby, to convey enticing rumors about rewards for assisting the Allies at a cafe frequented by the camp's guards. One guard, José Sevilla, agreed to help in exchange for passage to England to join the Free France movement. On July 15, 1942, Virginia's plan came to fruition. Sevilla provided wine to distract the other guards, while the imprisoned agents used lockpicks and wire cutters to escape. Within 2 weeks, all of Clan Cameron had been relocated to safe houses in Lyon. Virginia's daring rescue was later hailed as one of the war's most useful operations by SOE's official historian. Escaping the Limping Lady. Virginia, a cautious and skilled resistance agent known as the Limping Lady, evaded capture by constantly staying vigilant and taking necessary precautions, such as working from hotels with multiple exits. Adolf Hitler, frustrated by resistance activity in the Free Zone, ordered a crackdown to find and capture her. The German secret forces came closer to capturing Virginia when they discovered her presence through radio intercepts, leading them to deploy 500 agents to track her down. As arrests and raids escalated, Virginia noticed her acquaintances becoming increasingly exposed, signaling to her that the net was closing around her. Unbeknownst to Virginia, a German agent named Robert Alesch had infiltrated her Lyon network. Alesch, posing as a patriotic priest, managed to gain the trust of Virginia's associate, Dr. Jean Rousset. Although Virginia was initially suspicious of Alesch, she eventually allowed him to work with Rousset while keeping her location hidden from him. Alesch's valuable information on the Atlantic Wall, German fortifications designed to repel an Allied invasion, made him a valuable asset. His infiltration was a significant coup for the Germans, as he led them to other targets while also providing them with opportunities to deceive the Allies. However, despite Alesch's infiltration and Virginia's growing suspicions, she remained elusive to the WWII agents. Her cautious nature and network of operatives helped keep her out of enemy hands. Nonetheless, Alesch's intelligence would have severe consequences for the Allies. When Virginia's operatives took an interest in Dieppe, a northern French port, the German forces correctly surmised that an Allied raid was being planned. As the raid commenced in August 1942, the fighter force was met with unexpected and fierce resistance from hidden gun positions. This led to the tragic loss of 4,000 soldiers who were either killed, captured, or injured. Despite the relentless pursuit by the German High Command and an enemy agent's infiltration, Virginia managed to stay one step ahead of her pursuers. This gripping game of cat and mouse demonstrates the cunning nature and bravery of the resistance during World War II. With each close call, and against the backdrop of war and sacrifice, Virginia's commitment to the cause remained unwavering, navigating a treacherous landscape to evade capture at a crucial moment. Turning tides and perilous escapes. By the fall of 1942, the Wehrmacht's invincibility crumbled as the Eastern Front saw a shift in power dynamics. The Soviet Red Army had encircled German forces in Stalingrad, and British forces had liberated Egypt and Libya. With U.S. soldiers landing in Algeria and Morocco, Germany scurried to respond to the danger of losing North Africa, a strategic point for an invasion of France. Virginia, who had been operating in Vichy France, was forced to flee to avoid the Nazi forces pouring into the Free Zone. Thanks to a timely tip from the American consulate, she managed to catch the last train out of Lyon just 3 days before the Wehrmacht's arrival. Virginia needed to move to Spain, but the French Catalan town of Perpiñán presented only one viable route, a perilous trek on foot through the icy grips of the Massif du Canigou mountain range. With no other options, she entrusted her fate to a local smuggler guide, the Passeur, while concealing her wooden prosthetic leg, Cuthbert, which might have made her a liability in the merciless smuggler's eyes. The challenging 50-mile journey tested Virginia's strength and perseverance. Though she tried concealing her limp, the pain intensified, filling her sock with blood. During a radio communication with London's SOE, she complained about Cuthbert being a nuisance, only to receive confused instructions to have him eliminated. Despite exposure, exhaustion, and searing pain, determination drove her forward, and after 3 exhausting days, she descended the mountain range and reached the safety of Spain. Virginia Hall, a decisive saboteur. Virginia Hall's participation in sabotage operations during World War II played a crucial role in the eventual fall of Nazi Germany. Initially, she faced setbacks when her British SOE bosses confined her to menial tasks in Spain. However, the U.S. Office of Strategic Services, OSS, noticed her talent and sent her on a covert mission to central France. Her efforts in leading resistance forces played a critical part in securing Allied victory. Virginia Hall's prospects seemed bleak after her British SOE bosses demoted her to organizing safe houses in Spain. Nonetheless, an opportunity arose when the U.S. established a new intelligence agency, the Office of Strategic Services, OSS, in 1942. William Donovan, the London-based director of the OSS, sought to bolster the reputation of his novice agency as the Allies geared up to invade France in 1944. Donovan hatched a plan to infiltrate France and sabotage Germany's defense arrangements. Virginia Hall was his first choice of potential operatives. Persuading her to switch allegiance proved easy, and on March 21, 1944, she landed in Brittany, disguised as a simple peasant woman. Virginia's destination was the strategically vital region of Nièvre, located halfway between Lyon and Paris. With Germany relocating its forces towards Normandy in anticipation of an Allied landing in the north, the OSS deemed Nièvre the ideal location to disrupt the German army. Tensions were already brewing in France, as Maquisards, young men evading conscription for forced labor in Germany, became the backbone of the resistance. Virginia took control of these fighters, dividing them into agile units and conducted operations that included setting vehicles on fire, toppling telegraph poles, derailing trains, and sabotaging roads. This groundwork laid the foundation for D-Day, the Allied invasion of Normandy on June 6, 1944. When Virginia sent the signal to mobilize, thousands of resistance fighters readied their cached weapons to aid in France's liberation. Nazi Germany's doom was sealed as it faced both the Western Allies and the Red Army from the east, with victory for the Allies a matter of months away. Virginia Hall, known only to a few intelligence officers, became a significant contributor to Hitler's defeat. This remarkable woman, driven by her dedication to the cause, transformed from being confined to menial tasks to playing a decisive role in the overthrow of Nazi Germany.
In this insightful and captivating summary of A Woman of No Importance, we gain a comprehensive understanding of the life and achievements of Virginia Hall, the American spy who defied the odds to help bring about the downfall of Hitler's formidable regime. From her humble beginnings to her unconventional entry into the world of espionage, Virginia's resourcefulness and tenacity shaped her mission across war-torn Europe. Her extensive network, strategic planning, and exceptional leadership cemented her as a significant figure in the success of the Allied forces during World War II. Sonia Purnell masterfully shares Virginia's story, and as a result, the remarkable contributions of this fearless and unyielding woman will forever be commemorated.